So after the second beta, I had more time with Jump Force and my opinions have shifted a little bit. Most of my original complaints are still there and most likely will not go away. The problem this time is I played against real people. See, in my first run through of the beta, I only played against computers to get a feel for the controls. This worked pretty well until I played an online match with all of its glory. Now, the problems that I noted in the original video about the beta only began to shine through one after another. The biggest problem is still the controls. The assist should not have to be hold for an assist to come out and do its attack. Now, let me elaborate on how and why this should be reversed. We've established that the current controls, in order for you to switch, you have to tap the L2 button. Well, see, in some of the game plans and setups that I came up with Vegeta's Blast Volley move, also side note, developers, please stop giving him this move in any game he's in. Anyways, back on track. When I made my setup, I couldn't help but notice that I have to hold R2 and push whichever button for the special I wanted to do. Keeping this in mind, if the controls were switched so that L2 being held would trigger the character switching, this would allow me to hold L2 and R2 at the same time while doing a special. This would allow me to special and switch, effectively giving me a great mix-up and pinning my opponent in place. Would this be so much better than having to mentally remember to tap one half of your controller while holding the other side? I think it would be. Then again, this is just me. The other problem was still the health bar. Now, as I said in my first run through with the beta, I only played against the computer so I could get an understanding and a feel for the game. Well, when I played against actual players, the damage output was really high. So high that I played against one match against a Kenshiro player where the guy did a combo that left me only with 20% of my health, and this was almost from full HP. Yeah, no, this isn't right, and it's almost a touch of death, and those aren't healthy for any game, don't at me. So now I side with the crowd demanding higher health even more because that's not even fun nor enjoyable to watch happen. Combine this with the game being generally chaotic at times, it can be very frustrating to watch this happen. Another big issue is not all specials are created equally. Now, of course, certain characters are going to have stronger specials than others. When certain characters can chain specials together, this pretty much makes those characters that can't worthless to a degree. So in my playing with Ichigo, I found that I can chain his cross slash, which takes the opponent from ground to air, with his Getsuga Tensho. This allowed me to easily slice off from anywhere from 30 to 50% of my opponent's HP, more if I have a setup or threw my assist at them before I make my first strike. What I'm getting at here is that the damage output and the health pool don't mesh well. It feels like it's kind of all or nothing in terms of how I expect real games between people to go, which makes sense given that the substitution jutsu, or excuse me, escape, drains all your stamina, which makes that you getting out of dodge literally all or nothing. Now, keeping this in mind, I have two last gripes with the game in terms of how it plays. The other gripe is that characters who have moves that perform somewhat like a cutscene, such as Sasuke's Chidori for example, or Zoro's specials, have this really weird invul where they can keep coming at you even if you hit them, and since blocking after tapping a button takes a lot of frames to execute, it usually means that you're going to get hit. An example of this is I use Sasuke's Amaterasu, which is supposed to cause my opponent to crumble. My opponent was playing Frieza at the time and used Frieza's You Might Die This Time special. This move, as you might have guessed it, requires Frieza to charge at you and hit you to start the cutscene. Well, while Frieza should have crumbled, he didn't, and instead I ate a special and I was kind of left scratching my head. Okay, now there's one last thing I have an issue with and then I'm done here, because this is turning into one of those longer videos, and if you subscribed, I'm sure you noticed that I don't really make very long videos. Also, and if you're not subscribed, you should hit that subscribe button. Anyways, let me get back to my point. All specials aren't created equal. This goes triple for ultimates. Let me explain. Now, as we all know, certain characters have awakenings which can buff their moves while others... So if you play a character who does have an awakening or a transformation such as Naruto, when you use his ultimate, it'll do a lot of damage. I played one game where my opponent went 6 past Sage Mode, then used Naruto's Biju Bomb, and it shaved off about 60% of my HP. Now compare this damage to, say, Ichigo going Vasto Lorde and only doing about 30%. Now these numbers are just me eyeballing it because we don't have an official real training mode just yet because the game's not really out. So I'm going off of what it looks like. This makes no sense to me whatsoever. And I say this because this kind of damage output will literally cause the game's meta to be defined by a character who has a good combos and good assists that can be mildly intimidating. The second slot will go to a character who can cause lockdowns for the point character, and then the third slot will go to the character who you turn to for big damage off of their ultimate. Not that this is a bad thing, but it's very reminiscent of what happened in Dragon Ball FighterZ. When the game first released, it was basically pick the character you wanted to play, followed by either Goku or Goku Black because of beam assist, and then Vegeta because of how strong his assist was when the game first came out. It really cripples team design and innovation. That's just my thoughts though. I may still buy this game, I'm not sure yet because I'm still hoping Aizen will make me overlook all of these problems. I guess we'll just see how it plays out.